Good afternoon. This is Desiree Dubois, founder of An Empowered Woman. And today we are speaking with Bobbie Casalino Lewis, the founder of In Style by Bobbie on Strictly Business. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Wonderful.
You're doing
Absolutely.
wonderful? Do you feel empowered?
I always feel empowered.
Well, you have, I believe in you because you have had quite a journey. You were in the corporate world in very, very significant positions for many years, and now you've done something completely different. Tell us about that journey.
Well, you know that you have been with me on this journey since I was in the corporate world, because that's when we met. And I was just starting to scratch and sniff to see if I could find my pathway out and onto other things. So I will give away my age a little bit here. I was in the corporate world for 40 years. I started out on Wall Street. I have always been in telecommunications, which at the time people thought, oh, advertising? No. We make words and pictures and things go from one place to another, right? So, the telecommuting of information. And on Wall Street, I loved what I did. I installed trading rooms. I ran very big installations. I can say that, unfortunately, I knew a lot of people and knew a lot of the space in both Twin Towers because we installed all the trading rooms there. And so for a very long time, I was in a very man's world because it was a union that were the workers, as well as non-union, which were my project managers. And it was a wonderful experience. And that was in the roaring 70s and early 80s. So you can only imagine what the world was like at that point in time. So yes, I was in a very significant corporate career. I made a big move and a big leap of faith, and I moved from my corner office on the 14th floor overlooking the South Street Seaport to Los Angeles. At one point, I met a man who became my husband, and he was an LA native and said, "You've been so successful in New York, come on, try LA." So I said, after 2.5 years of his sales pitch, I finally said, okay, I'll try it. And arrived in Los Angeles to mudslides, killer bees, earthquakes, fires, riots. Seriously questioned my sanity at that stage of the game as to why I switched coasts. And of course, the ocean still is on the wrong side, so north, south, east, and west make no sense to me at all, even though I've been here for a while. So, and then re-engaged in the telecommunications industry out here and wound up spending quite a bit of time, once again, handling very large clients on a global basis, and was lucky enough to be recruited into a boutique company, an international company, which had landed the Nestle account globally. Nestle, is the supermarket of every country, just about. So I handled the Nestle account for all of the Americas, and it was a big job, and it took me a lot of places. But still, I was in a man's world. So I was always trying to hold on to my femininity, but still be strong and empowered, and hold my own in those environments, whether it be multilingual or single lingual. And so fashion, as a derivative of my style, became something really important because typically I was the only woman in the room. And it doesn't matter how big the room was. I was still the only woman in the room.
So fashion, how was that born? What was prompted the fashion and style by Bobbie? Well, there's many different areas of fashion you could have gotten into.
Right. Well, I look at fashion and style as two different components. Fashion is what you wear, okay, which is a whole art in and of itself, which I focus on. It's based of color and texture and all those kind of things. And style is how you wear it.
Okay.
So knowing what your style is a very, very important component of fashion, because things that you see on the runway or you see in Vogue magazine or Bazaar magazine are fashion, but they may very well not be your style.
So what you do is bring that to?
Well, I say you don't have to be a rock star to have rocking style. So I help people, men and women, I help them, find their style. Then I help them find that style and dig it out of their closet So by putting things together in a different way, I know with my eyes closed, regardless of what condition someone's closet is in, how good a shopper they are or not, that there are at least 20 outfits waiting to be found in their closet. So I like the idea of reinvesting in what you already have. So working with me, I take what you have already spent money and time on, and I make it workable for you, and I give it new life. My favorite words on the planet are, I never would have put that together, but I love it.
So who's your basic clientele? Who's your favorite, who's your best market?
My best market demographically are those with disposable income and who need and want to look their best every time they step foot out the door.
And right? So it could be for corporate women or people that travel a lot or speakers, or who should raise their hand to this?
Wives and husbands of affluent people. It could be someone who is running for school board or a principal in a school that wants to be more relatable to the kids and thereby be more successful. It could be moms who are done having their children and want to transition now out of mommy clothes into more sophisticated clothes, but still be comfortable and presentable and affordable. So I work with all different types, but mostly the best person to work with is somebody who's willing to try.
So that's a good, very good point. And also, what you mentioned is that a lot of people think that it's only the very wealthy or the rock stars that have stylists. So tell us in 3 steps what you do. Like, first thing you do is, what's this process?
Okay, there really are only about 3 steps and 3 simple steps. The first one is I meet with the person and we go through a little bit of a style quiz, because most people don't know what their style is. They really don't. Are you a bohemian? Are you more comfortable in a dramatic look? Are you a romantic? I find that most women in finance are not romantic. I do have one, but most of them are not romantic. So kind of get you a sense of who you are, because we all know that there are things in our closet that we don't wear, but we're not quite sure why we don't wear them. We just know that they appealed to us, but we don't wear them. So the first thing is determining what your style is. The second one is going through and doing the grunt work of cleaning out your closet. I make a closet look like a boutique by the time we're done. Everything's hung, colors, shapes, sizes are all put together so that you can actually go in there as you would a boutique and you can shop your closet. And in the course of that, we get rid of a few things. I'm Godzilla when it comes to that. Not at all. Not a stormtrooper. I don't say out, and dump it all. No, I believe that you have made an investment in most of those things. But we do take out things that I will call have bad energy. Some bad memory associated with it, or, just has never fit right, or the fabric is something that just irritates your skin. Repurpose that. Somebody else can use it. And then the third step is, once that closet is put together, then we go to work and I make outfits and I catalog all those outfits for you. So I draw from all the bits and pieces that you have, your accessories, your shoes, your bags, sweaters, scarves, staples, whatever. And by doing that, it becomes very apparent what you need to plug into your wardrobe. And that is the last step. We create a shopping list so that we then can go forward in a very strategic way of implementing the pieces of your wardrobe that need refreshing or that need a little bit more bent towards what you now know is your style, or give you a power look or a pop of color or whatever those elements are that you need. Typically it's a crisp white shirt, because white shirts take a beating. So every season, whatever white tops you have, you should really take a look at them, because they have a tendency, if you wear them, to get dingy. And, it's good to replace those, and because there's nothing like a good white shirt. And I'm not saying it has to be white or ivory white or, off-white. Whatever white is a good white for you, but that's a discussion for another day. But putting it together and having strategic. So I have some clients that it's a one-shot deal. And my services are truly more economical and give them more value than a day, when you go out shopping and you look for things and, you can't find anything. But then there's that day where you go out and everything looks good and everything fits and everything is on sale. One of those shopping days, my my services are much more economical than one of those shopping days because you're very strategic about what you have and you know how to use it going forward.
Well, one last question before we run out of time is that I know that some people do wonder about the cost of it, and I know your services vary, but just tell for someone where the range would be so that people that are listening can say, yep, I can do that and take part of what you're doing.
My services range from $499 for a complete styling session, which would include a closet clean out, and all the way up to, I have several clients where I'm on retainer. So I go in a couple of times a month, dress them for all their occasions, pack them for all their trips, and keep them stocked with whatever items they need seasonally to update their wardrobe.
Fantastic. So like we're just saying is that it absolutely is more affordable to go rework your closet than to go out and buy something else new that may or may not fit or try to put it together. So it's a much better value to be able to go and, like you said, shop in your closet. I love when you say that.
And think about how good you feel because it's reinforcing the fact that you made a good choice in the first place.
Fantastic. So Bobbie, in closing, what empowering thought would you like to leave our listeners with today?
That's a good one. I think that the most empowering thing is to really listen to your gut, assess your talents, and go for it. Do something that has purpose, that aligns with your talents, and keep pounding the ground until you find that, because when you do, it is ever so wonderful.
And I can see that's what you've been doing. This is your space, this is your life, and I'm so glad that you're bringing it to an empowered woman. So thank you very much. I want to thank our listeners today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at An Empowered Woman. Until we meet again, stay empowered.